what's just come up through that trip is how much I used to collaborate. So when I went to England last couple weeks, the big thing about it was that I wasn't on my own doing stuff. I mean, even now, in doing Doodlefest, I feel like I'm a lot of times on my own. You know what I mean? Or it's like it's every person individually there, and I haven't yet struck that collaboration thing that I normally had in England.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think
Um,
defines that? Like the difference?
ownership. I think ownership of the whole thing, meaning I don't know if everybody involved feels like they own Doodle Fest, meaning it's something that I kind of introduced and I've held on to, and in a way that's not quite cool. Um, and at the same time, culture-wise, it's so much different here. It's almost like I have to, hey, this we can do all this, but it's like it's not always received or seen well from the sessions we've had, from the Doodle Fest things we've had. It's been good, but it hasn't been in any way the level of what we had in the UK, which was like we had like 20 people in, assisting and doing things, leading people in doodling, and like that one weekend was 1,000 people through the gallery.
Hmm.
Wow.
That's not, to get 1,000 people anywhere here is you need like a major band or
Yeah.
Huh.
it's not conducive to that. And the last Doodle Fest, Matt was there, and it didn't, for me, it didn't feel like I thought it was going to be this big collaborative thing with Can and with um with the workspace, with assembly and Can, but it didn't feel like that to the extent that I thought it would.
Yeah.
Like segregated.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of you guys go here, we'll go here, and um, although I really, appreciated the space and all the work that assembly did put in a lot of work to that. It just it didn't feel like this collaborative circus that it once was. And the more circuses, the better. The more we're just doing stuff and making a mess, the better
Yeah.
for Doodlefest.
Yeah.
Um, so it was that. I don't know. I'm throwing it out there as this is where I'm at, where it's a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think in England it was like is the venue are venues more receptive to things, or do you think it's a walkability thing? Like you're more likely to get people just walking by and interested? What do you think the like logistical differences are? Because I think that is a lot of what people are struggling with here on a lot of events is just like, oh well, I'd have to get there. What's the parking like? And there's always a million things that keep people from going. Do I want to do that? You know?
Yes. We were based at a festival in a gallery that was in the festival route, so that helped. But even places like Neon Fest, where we've been, I did a table there. That was good, but it just still didn't connect as well. It didn't hit as well.
Right.
And I think that was because we had so many people bringing different kinds of doodles and different aspects of drawing to the first one. Uh, it was almost there. We've almost hit it. It's just, how can it get more collaborative and more fun? I'm
I
just never.
wonder. Yeah, I wonder if that's part of what makes you good at what you're doing is because you're always going to find something where you're like, oh, I could grow in this way, I could make this better, how could I make this more cohesive for the community? Where it's like all the ones I've been to, it's like I wasn't at the last one, so I don't know how that separation was. But like everybody, I mean, yeah, we just have a smaller walkability population for it, but I think maybe the reason you're kind of, it sounds like a little frustrated with it is just because of who you are. Like, you want it to be growing and you want it to be collaborative, and that's great, and that's what's making it a thing at all. But yeah,
Yeah, I think
I
what
think it's really cool.
thank you. No, no, and
I
I'm
think you're
hard on
doing a
myself.
great job, Roy.
No, I'm hard on myself. We've got one coming up in August, so that's going to be a good one, I think.
Yep.
And Tess is very collaborative, so that's really going to be good. I just want to see less vending, more like because a lot of people just would vend and kind of, and I'm like, we could all be doodling and then selling our doodles. You
Yeah.
know, uh, I think that's going to be a big thing is to be able to, what you doodle, you put on the wall and you put a price sticker on it, and we'll auction it off or whatever. But I think people can own it more, and then that'll.
Vendors were kind of doing their own thing, and it felt very separate from. It didn't feel like one big thing because the vendors didn't really ever come over to do testing. A lot of the doodle vendors and whatnot, but there was a weird separation. So yeah, if there's a way we can, um,
Yeah,
like you said, just sell the stuff that we're doing right there,
I think so, and
it, or uh, you know, inclusive into the festival.
yes, I love that. Yeah, I think that's really good, and also that'll encourage collaboration. So,
Yeah,
not if you and Carrie wanted to do work on a couple doodles, you'd both own it and sell it. You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that would cross pollinate everybody.
I find that more exciting too than just having, the same stack of work there that you've had to set up forever. Like you've got brand new stuff right there.
Yes.
The, I love that. I feel like that's way more exciting than the way I've done it normally.
Now I'm
Thank
just spitballing here. I just had a vision of Doodle musical chairs where you just have
Great.
fixed stations, and then it's just like, okay, for this song, we're gonna do this. Now move to the next chair, and then at the end you have 10 finished pieces, and all of them go up.
Yeah.
Mm,
Perfect.
yeah,
Stuff like that is perfect.
yeah. That's what we got. I think we need more like games and more, not necessarily directly related to art type of things to incorporate into making stuff. That's a good idea. I love that.
Love the musical chairs, Doodle.
That's really a good idea.
Yay. Well, it's like if we reverse engineer it, it's like, what's the goal? If we want everybody to have hands on these pieces, then how are we going to do that?
Right.
And maybe in the group ones, we could auction them off for a charity or,
Yeah.
something where it's not just an ownership by one person, where it's like 10 of us.
Yeah.
That could be a gift to somebody, or we can just prize it. It could be a prize for someone. I think those are great ideas. And also, like, I went to the Yoko Ono exhibit in London.
I saw you posted that. I was so jealous.
I went to live in the Yoko exhibit. You walk in and blue markers all over the place, all different shades of blue, and a boat in the middle of the room, and people have just drawn all over the walls, and it's all blue, but each person contributed, and it's a lot of graffiti, but there's also art. There's also it was great. And then you walk into another room, and on the wall, thousands of large post-it notes with messages from people to their mom or memories of their mom, just stacked throughout the whole thing. Meanwhile, you hear Yoko chanting on video on the side. It was like such a great experience.
That is really cool.
Such a great experience. That kind of thing, I want to really see if there's a way to incorporate those things into the next one.
Yeah.
And I think that frees me up a little bit because I kind of feel like I'm doing all the running of it, meaning and I think if it's more group focused, then it's going to be on the day that that it all happens.
Yeah.
Like potluck tasks, like potluck leadership tasks.
Yeah, potluck. That's a good idea. And maybe spread it out a little bit and see if people can do one or two things to help promote it.
Yeah, like have a list of the different things that you would normally be doing for it and be like, who wants to sign up for which aspect of this? Because
Yeah.
I want to do, X, Y,
Yeah.
and Z.
Yeah, and I think like having like an example in social media, when in both cases this last year, a lot of people did post about it and
Yeah.
spread it around. I really appreciated that. So maybe even increase that a little bit more.
Yeah. It's really not a hard sell. Once I've told people, it's, bring you and your kids and there's stuff everywhere to draw. It's like the thing that you wanted as a kid. And this is where you can go and do that thing. And people immediately want to do it. But maybe Carrie's right. Maybe it is like a walkability thing. It's an accessibility thing. And that's why it hasn't been. But anyone I've ever talked to about the idea loves it immediately. So that's definitely not the problem. Maybe
Right.
getting get them, you know, find a way to get a nice open space that's got, the accessibility that,
Parking.
yeah.
I think I mean, the garage has its advantages. I think it's going to be good because it's in the Vibe District.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's close
You can
to
just walk over from
convention
there.
center.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we could get convention center one day. That could be like a goal.
The arena tour.
The arena, the
Doodle
amphitheater,
mayhem. Doodle Lollapalooza.
live animals,
There you go.
doodle on the
It's
animals.
just us wearing ears.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be good. All right, all right. So we got that. How's everybody doing? How are you guys doing? What's your
I'm
work like?
good. Much better than last time.
Last time was fun.
Last time was not fun, dude.
I was so frustrated because I
I
couldn't
was
get
so frustrated. I was like, what the fuck? Why is there all of this dead space?
Yeah.
It wasn't.
there wasn't, but there was because it was like we weren't all connected.
No, exactly. Exactly.
It sucked. That sucked.
Yeah.
And of course, my brain was all weird because it was like literally two people in my family died the same week, and it was like I'm just gonna keep living, but also like having that weird haze around you where you're like, where am I? I'm probably just misinterpreting all of these, so I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and then going, oh yeah, no, maybe not.
Yeah. No, that's not easy to get through.
Mm.
Well, yeah, like that weird fog
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah.
happens. But much better than I feel much better now. Everything's good. I'm excited. I'm gonna do I'm not thinking of doing it. I committed to doing it at least once to try and see kind of like so I've done pop-ups before, but it's not really I don't think I was decisive enough about what I wanted to do with the art in it. Like I was just too all over the place, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna bring everything, and then it's like looks like a modge podge and like really confused, and. So I'm going to do this one pop up on the 20th where I'm just going to have a table and some chairs and offer live sketches of people.
Where is it?
The grand.
I think it's the Hickory Ridge Farms. It's the lady that I've done pop up markets with is super nice. But it's the Salting Market is the pop up, so she does all of the permits and all of that sort of stuff and organizes it with the event spaces. But yeah, so it's like I think it's in Chesapeake. And I feel like there's going to be like more kind of like family type thing. So I'm excited about that because I like doing that and it's fun. So see if something comes of that. And yeah, and then just painting, like that's what I'm doing now. It's like, okay, I'm going to keep working on stuff and keep it going and still trying to transition out of massages, but it's like really hard to say no to people. But it's fine. We're making it. But how's everybody else?
Matt?
We've had a lot of fun of week. Been
Been what?
He's going in and out.
Okay, yeah.
It's okay.
Can be okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so fun going and doing the mellow bean stuff for the last few weeks.
You're so nice.
Went to our friend Julie, got to put her stuff up there.
Yes.
A couple weeks was it last week? 2
Yeah.
weeks ago? Yeah. So we all
23rd.
went there for that, and then and we've got the Doodle Fest coming up in August.
We got one on the 20th too.
Oh, are we doing that one at Mellow Beans?
That's no. Oh, it's going to be at the Coalesce.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So that's happening on that day from noon on. But that's going
Wait,
to be more
20th
like
of
a table.
July? So I won't be able to go to that one either because I've
I know
got
because you got
that Hickory, and then I've got at night that print thing with Corinna at the
yeah.
bunker.
Oh, the
Damn it.
collective.
So the August one, what date is that?
First weekend in August.
Okay.
Friday, Saturday,
Because I've
Sunday.
already had people asking me about that one too.
Yeah, I'm going to put out a poster this weekend. I'm going to get a poster going as soon as possible.
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
But yeah, no, that's the 20th is going to be more like a low key. They're going to open up the garage in the back at Coalesce, and whoever can come by.
I
It's
will be there.
it's more of a
Nice.
table that you can experiment with selling your stuff.
My girlfriend's daughter got to do Doodle Fest with Carrie, Julie, a few days ago, and I'm pretty sure that they both changed her life entirely. She over the moon happy with knows the real artist now,
I'll
and,
start crying again.
and like she's definitely in her element there. I think we can
She's
get
so
so
sweet.
far. Like the perfect example of exactly what we're trying to reach out to for it. Like we got to see it happen in real time. That like she connected with everybody, like clicked right in.
Was that Mellow Beans thing?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that sounded good.
we went from she had never met either of them to like or she told Lexi, who works at Melody, says that she wanted to move in with because she was like that space is such a nice place, and everybody just is like she just found her people, and I'm looking forward to seeing that with more people as people figure out what we're doing. But
Yeah, that's cool.
it's to see it was really rewarding, and I'm glad Carrie and Julie got to be part of that. That was they're a huge
Nice.
And she was so serious too. What a sweetie.
makes it
Took
very
her
very
art very seriously.
she's way
I felt so bad because at one point there was like a thing on one of the Posca markers exploded,
oh yeah.
and we were. Yeah, I know you know what happened, but I'm gonna tell Roy.
What
Mm-hmm.
happened?
But okay, so we're doing this, and her mom comes over and starts trying to help, and it she should not have tried to help because you know how the Posca markers it was she had drawn the cutest little cat and the Posca marker exploded on part of the cat's face, like next to it a little bit.
Oh
And her
no.
mom comes over with a paper towel to try and fix it, and me and Julie are like, and and she tries to like help her because of course you want to help your baby. She's going, oh no, what do I do? And she like puts it down, and of course the ink just goes all over the cat's face. It wasn't on the face until, and then
No.
poor baby, she was like, oh and then like, it's okay, just let it dry, you can go back in over it and build it up or whatever. But she had to take a little break after. But I was telling Julie and I think Abigail, Brian's daughter, about now I don't know if I told her about it too, but um, when I was maybe, I don't know, it was my parents' 25th wedding anniversary. So if they were married in 1986, this would have been 2011. So I was like 17. And I was like, I always did art in high school, but not like my senior year. And I was so excited because Tumblr had just come out.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I had seen these really cool, which looking back now, they were like graphic design where people had kind of taken a bunch of images and cut them up and then pieced them back together. So you had like these sky, pieces of sky from different time frames, but they were all like kind of quilted together. It was so cool. And so we had gone to Shenandoah for my parents' 25th wedding anniversary. And I had taken all of these pictures of the sky, and I was so excited. They were disposable camera, right? I had no idea. I had taken pictures of like night sky, so I would have darker tones, all of these different colors, and I was so excited the whole time. And then my mom offered to develop the film for me, or like I mentioned to her, I said, "Oh, I'm gonna go do shoot. Well, let me do it." Oh, okay, cool. Thank you so much. It's so generous of you. Like she was offering to pay for it, and that time I'd been working a while. I was like, oh, so kind. She brings them back, and I'm looking through them, and I'm like, where are all of my pictures? And she's going, they were all just stupid pictures of the sky. You didn't even take any of us. And I was like, that that was the whole point. That was what I was doing. That
No.
was what, and like she just could not grasp the concept that it was like that they were going to be cut up. Like I would have gone and done it if I knew you were going to do this. And it was like for however, and it was just, I was
Oh.
telling her, I was telling her about that. I said, sometimes you just have to really be able to like say what your end goal is. And it's like, obviously there's still a little selfish on my mom's part to just assume I didn't know what I was doing. Um,
Yeah.
or that, what you value isn't what I value. Um, but, it's like, okay, but also I didn't tell her that. I was just excited. I didn't tell her I still don't really tell anybody what the goal is because half the time I don't know what the goal is, but I was just excited about it. But it's like, oh man, you have to really tell people. But sometimes moms make mistakes, and that's okay.
Well, I also felt like it was a good lesson in not being precious about things, being okay, letting go of even when you love it, one of your favorite things, like maybe don't hold
Kill
it
your
so much.
darlings.
Something else can come of it, and it might be even better than whatever it is now. I thought that was a good lesson, as like from an artist perspective. That's what you do. I thought that was like a big thing to learn. That's a hard thing to learn when you got something you love, but it's got to change a little bit. It can be really hard to do, especially trying to learn it is to try to do one perfect.
Yeah.
It's hard to let that stuff go sometimes, but it's an important lesson to learn if you want to see push yourself. What else you can come up with that even you didn't know you could do.
Well, that's like an impermanence thing, because like that's like the salmon dollar thing, where the Buddhists get together and they do this. They spend days just making this mandala out of sand, and then it's beautiful and intricate, and they've taken days to do it, and then they take it and they dump it in the water.
Yep.
It's gone. So that's an idea for a doodle. We do
Mhm.
this big
Yeah.
collective doodle and then we put it in the ocean or something. They're not, well, that's not environmentally viable, but something like that.
Yeah.
And like do it right before a storm.
Yeah, or
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 like, um, we could physically cut some of them in half and then like take somebody else's, put their half with it, and make a new picture entirely, and just see what becomes of that.
I love that idea. I love that game idea. But I wonder, like, okay, so this is a really good subject because like the photos, um, did she throw them away or something?
She never got them developed, and then she wouldn't give me the film back because yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
She's
trauma.
much better now. She went to therapy. I love my mom. Don't put that in there because if she ever,
No, no, we'll make
she's
sure it's
she's you can put that whole story in there, but just this part, the
make sure
therapy
you get
part,
that.
she's gotten so much better. But yeah, she used to be extremely vindictive and controlling, and like
Yeah.
your values absolutely have to be my values. Very much like did not
I
know the
understand that.
difference. The boundaries were not there. It's like, no, I gave birth to you, therefore you have to do everything down to your
Right.
belief system. It's like, that's not gonna work, lady.
That's interesting.
Very
Wow.
rarely does work.
Rarely does work. What I was going to say was like at the School of Visual Arts, where I went to in New York for a couple of years, one of the professors, Arisman, he's the illustrator guy that did I Love New York.
Yeah.
He made
Cool.
I mean, if I had known at 18 that I'm sitting in a class on Monday mornings with the guy,
Yeah.
I think I would have appreciated it a little bit more. Even his criticisms of my stuff, I do appreciate more. But he was big on having students go through 4 years at School of Visual Arts, and then he really petitioned for portfolios to be dumped. You present the portfolio in your 4th year, you're done, you destroy the portfolio.
Oh, that's
And he
great.
thought, good.
That's almost spiritual. It's
Yeah,
a purging of your soul.
it's so unburdening,
Yeah.
but also terrible. 'Cause you don't want to get.
But I understand why now, because like work at that time is really just practice and developing, unless you're like a genius. Um, it's not, you learn the value that it's just your work and it could be expendable. You don't have to be so precious with it.
What a great.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean that's interesting. And some of his philosophy was just like, I think one of his books is called The Work, and how artists are like not prone to call their work their art. It's their art, but not their work. And he's like, it's just work. It's like, this is what you do,
You
hand in
spent
the
your
shop.
time making it.
Yeah, it's a job kind of thing. It separates the mystique, the mystical of creation into like, hey, I've got a job to do. This is the design. Um, Here it is, and not to worship it.
Yeah, it makes it so practical.
Because a lot of it advertising and design goes into billboards, goes into things that are just, uh, they're just transient. They don't stay.
Yeah,
Very few things stay.
and it's pop. Might not be flashy in the moment, and then kind of go down to kind
Yeah,
of not meant to last the test of.
right.
Reactionary.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Anyway, those are just thoughts. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm still thinking about how we can like transform, like make the Doodle Fest into a more of that like transformative. It's like we're talking about, okay, getting rid of our portfolios. You're talking about, okay, release the time you just put into this. Now you're giving it to somebody else to do whatever. Cut up the pieces. Put all this time into something that was really precious. Now somebody else is going to cut it up and use it.
Yeah,
There's a lot of different things that could be done with it, but it's like almost like you'd have to make some of the decisions for the process for the group before it even begins.
yeah. Plus,
The rules.
I think it would be interesting if we do the cutting up and letting people put together what they want to. We'll be able to see their perception of what we've done.
Yeah.
Doodle collage.
Yeah, like once they start putting things together, then we'll see. Oh, that's how they interpreted it. It was so different than I did, but this is what they clearly saw, and that might help us, in the future with our own stuff.
Sure.
See
Yeah.
value where we didn't before.
Yeah, yeah, and to understand people who maybe don't do this professionally and aren't in their normal day to day very artistic and but they're able to show it right there. Yeah,
Understanding their perception of your art.
yeah,
That's one thing.
they're input.
Okay, that's all good. Those are really interesting ways to go about it.
Yeah,
And we could definitely build those in with the rules, have people know what's going on beforehand and um, set up so that it's simple to do that stuff. Yeah.
It's exciting.
yeah.
Who does the collage thing? Who does the collage afternoon?
Rachel,
Rachel. Rachel does all the community stuff.
the fair amount.
Yeah, it's cool. I was going to say that the pottery thing was probably one of the more successful things I've seen that she did at Doodle Fest.
And she
People
loves
were-
teaching.
She's amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was totally it hit the mark as to, for at least my judgment.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, it was she got to present her work. Everyone else got involved. It was like she she brought everybody together with that one thing. That was really cool.
I was
I was
just like that. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, maybe a collage thing could happen in that roundabout thing, like you're talking about, in terms of we all draw something and then people are free to use it as collage.
yeah,
Maybe even through the whole 2 or 3 days.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Okay. Cool.
a lot of good ideas.
Yeah, we're good. A lot of good thoughts. Ah. So, are you working on anything new?
Me no. Oh,
Hmm. Are you stuck?
yeah. Well, we just been hit with a lot of personal things, one after the other. So we've just been dealing with a lot of stuff that's it's kind of not conducive to being good for me artistically until later on down the road when I can kind of unscramble all the thoughts and all the things that I'm going through and trying to get some answers with some things. And once that happens, it'll start flowing again. I think I was able to
The
do.
focus is disrupted.
Yeah, so I was able to do something for Julie. Had a thing that she was doing a charity where we could get to be auctioned off. So I was able to do something for that, which felt good to put
Yes.
something new out there again. A lot of the Mellow Bean stuff was new, so it's coming together. It's coming back slowly, but it's
Yeah. No, and you did the Mellow Beans thing, which was awesome.
yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really love that.
Yeah. I'm gonna. Uh, I need to get photos from that. I think I have a few photos, but
I can send you a bunch.
okay, that's cool. Anything new, Carrie?
Yeah, I've got a couple. So I've got right now. I'll show you the one I have on the. I've finally put the base layer down for the coastal fermentary thing.
Oh,
So it's just the base layer, but I'll show you guys. It's gonna be way more like realism, but so you can't really like it's gonna be the brewery. I don't know if you can
Oh,
tell what it is
cool.
yet,
oh,
but it's
wow.
all of them uh, making it. Like I got two of the people to Rick and the other chick who's so sweet um, to model for me. So of course right now it's just grayscale, but it's gonna have all the color and it's such a puzzle um,
And that's going to
because
be on a
you
can.
know
It's going to be wrapped in a can.
huh.
It's going to be a
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
That's great.
So I'm interested to see how it'll like work out. I think it'll be cool because at first I was like on the fence about what kind of painting I wanted to do. I was like, oh well, I mean, what if I just did a few sessions of the live sketching and I did like black and white and just had sketches of the things and I would already be done with it if if I decided. But I was like, well, no, I really want. I mean, you gotta keep. I want to do more sketches, but I also want to do more realistic paintings. And it's like you have to put out the work that you want to keep doing.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, I got the base layer down, which for me is the worst part because it's just kind of it's not even the tedious. I love tedious. Um, it's just putting it on there, just getting rid of the blank canvas and making as many decisions as possible for that base layer, which I don't know. So we'll see how it goes. I'm working on that. I just did this group of 100 t-shirts and tank tops, hand dyeing those for Mellow Beans. So I did a design for them um, as sort of I did the design part as like a thank you for letting me sell my stuff there because they didn't take a commission for the t-shirts because I sold like I don't know maybe
Wow.
15 20 t-shirts there from the ones I did last year and so he saw it was good. He was like, I need tie-dye t-shirts of my stuff now, so because they were selling and his weren't that were just like the black gray blue whatever and they were still selling a little bit, but he asked me to do some tie-dyed ones, so I just spent the weekend doing the chemical process and the dyeing for 100 of those, and I did a cool design for the back of it, and then it'll be his logo on the front. So that's been that was fun for me too. I gotta kind of play around with some different things. And I love doing tie dye just because there's such a I didn't, it's more like hand dyeing what I do. I didn't really do any of the folding or tying with these. So it's kind of way more just like a massive amount of just abstract expressionism where it's just like this color goes here and this color goes here. And I'm going to do,
Love it.
if you mix sodium alginate with the dye, it makes it more like a paint. It makes it like chunky, like a jelly. And so you can kind of, what's my phone doing? I don't know who that is, but they're getting hung up on. It gets like a jelly, so you can kind of make it more like splattered, where it'll kind of keep the form better of where you put it, but then it'll also like you can do the lighter where it's thinner and it'll bleed, and so I'm excited about that. They turned out pretty sweet, I think. So I'll see the finished product with the design printed on it to next week. He said by the middle of next week at the latest.
That'll be
So
cool.
that's cool. I'm excited about that, and hopefully, stuff comes from that because the people who do it's not screen printing that they do, which kind of bums me out. It's the heat press, but whatever. But
Well,
those
how do you
people, huh?
do you do that can you do that as a group?
Heat press?
That tie dye.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Because I was thinking like somebody
Community
buys.
tapestry.
Well, we got the Doodle Fest. I got like 100 Doodle Fest shirts, and I would just wonder if like there could
If
be
they're
a way.
white,
They're
are they
white.
white? Yeah. Are they cotton?
Yeah.
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 Maybe
Tell,
there's a way we can set up a station and you get something for leading that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
you can sell the T-shirts, and then if they want to dye, sell them and go, hey,
Dye it for $5 or that kind of thing. Or
Yeah. That's definitely a possibility.
cool idea, because yeah, we're about to do that here ourselves in household. So
in Portsmouth
yeah,
and P Town.
yeah, man,
Awesome.
getting used to it. It's nice. There's some crazy downsides, but there's really great people and places too. So
Really interesting people. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like a whole different world from that's why I'm starting to enjoy a lot of that.
Yes. Very good. Very cool.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Cool.
Roy, I'm glad you're back. Glad you're back in one piece. Good to see you.
I'm back in one great piece. Yeah. It was awesome.
Returned from Narnia.
It
I was
total-
losing it. I was so jealous. He kept being like, I'm in Narnia. I'm in Narnia. I'm like, he is in Narnia. He's
Well,
beautiful.
Narnia is like, the house that I was staying in Portobello Road, big door, like an ancient door that they made because the guy's an architect. So he made his house into an art gallery. Everything's art in it. It's amazing.
You have
And
Were you just giggling the whole time?
I was like ecstatic the whole time.
yeah.
So you got to get it to the house. You got to knock on this big Aslan, like a lion knocker. It's the
Fun
only
fact,
house-
not to cut you off, but in Turkish, Aslan means lion. Okay, go on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's right. Aslan is the lion in Turkish and in Narnia.
So you did the knocker. Sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, I did the knocker. I'm just saying it was like completely Narnian and fantasy like to be there. It was great.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of in that mode right now.
Glad you had that experience.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
dude.
All right, guys.
All right.
See y'all soon.
Peace.
Bye.
Have fun.
Huh?
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.